My name is Victoria Orenze. Who am I? Some people say I'm a prophet, some say I'm a teacher, some say I'm an evangelist, a pastor, an apostle, a psalmist. But let me make it simple. I am a follower of Jesus Christ. I am a child of God, the one God uses however, whenever He chooses and pleases. I'm from a family of 6 children. I'm number 4, father and mother, all alive and well. Okay, so I was born into a Christian home, Christ Apostolic Church. My mother is a believing Christian, not just talk, believing with signs and wonders. And as God will have it, every time she will have her children, the Lord will tell her what they would be. And as little as I can remember, she kept singing it into my ears that this is what the Lord has called you to be. I saw you doing this, I saw you doing that, ministering in front of people, talking with boldness, and then singing as well. So, I remember when I was 5, I would stand in the center table in the sitting room, and I would just start speaking so fiercely and boldly, and also sing, and everyone will listen. And when they ask me to repeat what I just did, of course I would do something else entirely. But then I noticed that to just like the sign to what my mom said and all. And then when I was 9, I had a dream myself. The Lord revealed this to me. So it wasn't just what my mom said anymore. It was now me having an experience. And I saw myself in front of a crowd like I couldn't count. And I found myself talking boldly to the people. And the Lord was ministering to the people, and I was singing as well. And I knew this was not a joke. He was too real for me. And I took it from there. This was 9. And I remembered also at that period, that same year, I was 9 when I gave my life to Jesus. There was an open air crusade happening, and we had been going. But this particular evening, I had a dream of rapture. It was too real. And I remember leaving. Before it was time that day, I was telling my mom, I'll be ready to go, because what I saw was too real. And I just was afraid, but it was wonderful, but then I was also afraid because it was real. And so we went to the open air crusade, and they made the altar call, and I ran out and I gave my life to Jesus. 9 I was then. And the journey started from there. Knowing Jesus, following Him, praying, reading the Word, and having experience from life. I always say to people, I have suffered a lot, a whole lot. I don't even think I can quantify how much I have suffered in life. I mean, like literally suffering, not having shoes to wear, not having clothes to wear, not having food to eat for 4 days, and you turn it to a fast. So I grew up early learning how to fast, not because I wanted to, but because life happened. And thank God, because my mother is a praying woman, we use everything and we will fast with them. I remember she'd tell us, she would say, is in Yoruba, because she likes to communicate in Yoruba. She would say, "Dakandele," and that means put your stomach on the floor, because the floor is cold and it will help regulate your hunger. And I had that many times. And we would, go to the mountains without food, not because we don't want to eat, but because we didn't have. I had to go to uncompleted buildings to look for snails I had to go to the stream to look for fish. You know those ones that look like frog, that you can call frog, yeah. I ate them. It got to a point where, you know, the play that children will play with, you know, can of tin tomatoes, you know, with sand and vegetable, I ate them because there was no food. We ate all manner of things. You know, I remember we had to farm at some point, and the farm was as, if you know Lagos, it's like you are living in Lekki and you have to go to the airport on the mainland, and we'll walk there to go plant. On our way, I climbed the trees. I was a tomboy. I had no choice, really. We climbed the trees and pluck fruit to eat, and we'll eventually get to the farmland and we'll farm. And when it's time for harvest, we'll go to harvest these things and we'll realize that turuku, that's what they call it. For those of you that don't understand, grasshopper has eaten everything. You know, you just find that there's nothing for you to harvest. The cassava, the yam, nothing. And we'll be so pained and we'll cry and we'll just still go back, you know, and try to make things work. I sold all manner of things. I sold efo tete, I sold efo shoko, amunututu. I sold oil, I sold firewood, I sold... What didn't I sell? I don't even know. I sold all manner of things. I mean, we'll go look for it and then we'll put it together and go sell so we can get something, you know, to eat from. And in all of this, thank God for a mother who is a Christian. We learned to be satisfied with what we had. I mean, she will tell you, you don't have food, the neighbor is cooking or the landlord is cooking and it's smelling so much. Like the aroma is almost, you know, making your life miserable. And she says to you, if you dare go there, if you go to their house to ask for food, you'll be in trouble. Just sit down and pray, God will provide. And we won't go to the neighbor's house because then it will look like you're just wicked. Why? But I'm grateful for those lessons because I've learned to be satisfied with whatever it is I have. I'm good. I really don't. Most times people, when they go through things like this, when they then have, it's almost like I have to enjoy my life now because I didn't enjoy before. But for me, I've learned balance from it. And scripture that says that we learn to abound and abase. So I can live well and I can work with whatever I have, you know. And so we had that journey. I watched my mom. We'll go to church. She didn't have a pair of shoes, not even slippers, for a year or more. And yet she'll be the first to show up in church. She'll put one on her back, she'll hold us and we'll go to church and pray, you know, and fast. And then when the church started to build, it was CAC Revival Center in Akure. I was there recently and it was just amazing. We were part of those that built the church. I mean, carrying pong, yes, to build it, and sometimes without food. And we'll do it faithfully and we'll go back home, trek home without shoes, wearing same clothes. I remember my mom had one purple dress. That was all she had for months, going to, let me not say, it was long. That's all I could remember. And she would wear it with joy, you know, and we will have these experiences. My dad was in the military, so we traveled a lot before we eventually settled down, you know, somewhere. And all of these experiences have summed up to the person that I am. And like I said, I was told early that I am for Jesus. So I had no choice than to do that, even though I had my moment. But I had no choice. And I remember from CSE, MFM, you know, and then redeemed. Then I met my second pastor. My first pastor, by the way, is my mom. And my second pastor, Pastor Esco. I met him, he's late now. And he was a blessing. to me and taught me a lot of things. And it was in that same place, City of David, in Oniru, around Oniru, that I met friends that have now become family. Nathaniel Enito Adabada is my twin. Nathaniel Bassi. Met quite a lot of people there that we've now become family. And Pastor Esco groomed us. I remember, this is funny, I remember when Nat met me, because I played the violin, and he was so fascinated by the fact that I could play the violin. I was like, what? And we'll go to the children's church at City of David and practice together. And he'll introduce me to his friends. Everyone, oh, come and meet this person. She can play. Meet my new friend, basically. She can play the violin, and we'll rehearse together. And that's how we became close, you know. And then my pastor, I love him. He's late, but I love him so much because he taught me so many things that I can't even begin to quantify. And I love my pastor, Pastor Esco. I love him so much. He's late, but I can never, ever forget him. I remember how I came to City of David. I was in the orchestra in Musan School of Music, and for like 10 years or more. And then I came to, they needed an orchestra to come play something in City of David, and I was asked to come, so I came. Prior to that time, I've been having, you know, moments with Jesus, you know, like just, I think I was in MFM then, before, you know, City of David. And the prayer was good, but I just felt I wasn't really knowing God like I should. How do I mean? It was more of praying and attacking demons more than having a relationship with Jesus for me. And I left after a while. It was a big problem. I left, and they dealt with my father and mother for that, right? Because I left. I can be very stubborn, but in a good way. Because I believe that my relationship with Jesus should be a relationship, not just asking him for things, or, you know, I'm afraid of everything. If I see a fly, it's coming to get me. If I see a cockroach, it's coming to get me. There was no relationship. And I wanted more. I was enjoying more on my own, but when I go to church, I wasn't feeling same. Maybe it was just where I was then, but yes, I wasn't feeling same. And so I came to City of David that day to play in an orchestra. And I played. While we were done playing, I sat down and the service started. And the service was unusual. It was not programmed. It was not, you know, we open in prayer and then we take offering and then we do testimonies. And no, it was led by the Spirit. And I found myself shouting, like we're consumed by the Spirit so much that when the thing calmed down, I was still shouting and crying and wailing. And let me tell you something, when you are having spiritual experience, your flesh is still aware in a way, but your flesh is just not in control. And so my flesh was saying to me, you are shouting. Everybody can hear you. But I couldn't stop it. I mean, like, I was just there shouting myself away because I was seeing things that were beyond me. And after the service, I said to myself, this is where I want to be. This is what I've been looking for. This is what's missing. And I left, but I didn't come for a while again. And after a while again, they wanted a quartet. A quartet is a group of 4, 2 violinists, a violist, and a cellist. And so I was called to come as well by one of my friends. So there were 3 guys and myself, and we came. And I remember he told me, this pastor, because then Pastor Esco was, the man is so wise, I don't even know what to say about him. he was giving the people in the worship department, he was giving them cars, he was buying stuff for them. And so this friend of mine said, you should come because they give cars and stuff. And I'm like, well, that's not the reason I want to come, but I've been here before and I love this place, and so I want to come back. So when we did, he was like, when you see him, kneel down and greet him. I was like, I don't even kneel down to greet my mom and dad, so why should I kneel down to greet him? I'll do the normal thing I do for my mom and dad, which is to bow my head. And so when we got to the church, the rehearsal was going on. Pastor Esco was in his office. I was at the balcony, if you know City of David well. I was at the balcony and I was singing myself away. Like I said, I've always known that I had a call to minister in words and in songs, but I took the violin. The Lord blessed me with the gift of the violin because I think it's a blessing. Not I think, I know it is a blessing. And so I did that more. And so, but while I was waiting for Pastor Esco to come, while we were waiting, I was singing at the balcony and I was just singing myself away. I didn't know they were listening to me. And so when we went into the church, Pastor Esco came, and when he was coming towards us, of course, my friend said, just kneel down. I didn't. The three of them, they were guys, they were on the floor, like prostrate on the floor. And I just bent my head because that's what I would do for my parents. So I didn't understand what. And then Pastor Esco said, oh, hello. And then he looked at me and said, what do you do? And I was like, what do I do? I play the violin. And my friend said, no, she sings. And then the choir master came and said, oh yes, she can sing very well. In my mind, I'm thinking, how did you know that? But apparently he could hear me when I was singing earlier. And so he said, so Pastor Esco said, oh, you can? Okay, let's go to my office. I was like, I was following him and saying, no, sir, I can't sing, I was like, just follow me, you can sing. I said, I'm shy. He said, you can't be shy. You cannot be shy. What's your name? I told him my name, and he said, you can't be shy, come to my office. So when we're going, we entered the office. As we're walking in the hallway, I saw Enito Adaba. And I looked at her and I said, somewhere inside of me, I said, we're going to be very close. I didn't know her from anywhere, but I just said, we're going to be very close. And then Pastor Esco said, Okerejo, because that's her name then. Okerejo, come, meet Mama. She's a powerful woman of God. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what did I say to you? I said, I am shy. They said I can sing. I don't think I can. You said I'm a powerful woman of God. But now I know. Of which he wasn't saying anything that wasn't true because God had already spoken. But life happened. And so he took me to the pastor, Pastor Bemigo, and said, Bemigo, have you met Momo? She's a powerful woman of God. I was like, okay. He said, come to my office. Okay, take. And then he gave me some CDs and said, go listen to them, go practice, and you come and do them. I was like, what's this man about? I can't even do anything like this. But that's how I said, I want to join the choir. And he said, okay, that's it. So that's how I joined City of David Choir. And I remembered every time we met, Pastor Esco would say, come, take my Bible and follow me. I started running from Pastor Esco because he was just a strange being. He would say, come, take my Bible and follow me. I'll just take the Bible and feel like, why am I following you? But he just say, follow me. I take the Bible, I follow him. And it was in that same place I met Nathaniel as well, and the earlier story. So I then joined the choir. After a while, Pastor Esco died. I stayed there because the redeemed rule is you don't leave when they change the pastor, because they had to change the pastors. Remain where you are. Don't leave with so they took the assistant pastor to another church and took the pastor from that church, and they brought him. And the GO had announced that don't leave with your pastor, stay where you are. But people don't listen to those things, by the way. They leave. And so I stayed back, and I didn't want the new pastor because I had so many things, but I didn't want him. And in church, share should be true, because me, I don't know how to say anything that is not. I'll just tell you as it is. I didn't like the pastor, and I did not want him to be my pastor. And I'd heard so many things. You know how people would talk in church, oh, hey, they want to bring, this is not going to work, and all of that. And then when the pastor came, the same people who said, no, were now saying, welcome, sir. I didn't get it. I couldn't understand it. So I wrote a note to the pastor, and I said to him that I didn't like him, but I am just obeying to be here, and we'll give it a try and see how it goes. That was what I did. And we gave it a try. And I was there for a while. By the way, when I said to Pastor Esco that I couldn't sing, I was lying, because I thought I could really sing. I felt I was too good because I knew music. I had an understanding of music, and I could sing because it happened from when I was little. So I could, but I was just trying to be humble, right? And so I was hoping that I would get the platform to sing at City of David. But that didn't happen. They told me to play the violin. And I was like, Abba, I don't want to play the violin, I want to sing. But then that was what they wanted from me, and I was so unhappy about that. So I was resentful to the violin. So I'll play it like, whatever. You know, I wasn't connecting to it. I just played, I could play, and I would just play it. Emotions were not attached. I didn't care. And after a while, they discovered that I could sing, and I will say of one incident.